I will scrape the seeds out like this. 2 teaspoons of turmeric, ladle in our relish. Hey y'all, Amy here and welcome back to Misty Dawn Farm. Today we're going to be in the kitchen, but before we get started in the kitchen, we're out here in the garden because today's video I'm going to be filming while I make and can relish, and I need cucumbers. So we are out here at my little cucumber patch and we're going to pick some cucumbers and then we're going to go inside and I'm going to share with y'all how I make my very favorite type of relish. The type of cucumbers that I am growing are pickling cucumbers. However, look how large this thing is, y'all. I went 2 days without picking. I have to pick every single day. Otherwise, they get a little large. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these that are slightly large and use them for my relish. Okay, now that we have our bucket of giant cucumbers, let's go to the kitchen. We're inside and I've got the cucumbers washed. So the first thing I was going to tell you is the recipe that I'm going to be using. I've done a couple different types of relish and I made this one at the end of the season last year and it was by far the favorite one I've ever made. So I'm going to show you, it's in this book, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the recipe so that you can like screenshot it or take a picture of it or whatever. It's on page 87. So this is the dill relish recipe right here that I'm going to be using. I add jalapenos and I'm going to be using fresh dill instead of dill seed. So that way you have the recipe if you want it. So the first thing that we're going to do is prepare the cucumbers, and then we're going to soak the cucumbers in water, turmeric, and salt for 2 hours. So we're going to go ahead and get that done now, and then I'll bring you back later when I'm ready to go to the next step. So the first thing that I'm going to be using is I've got a bowl and I've got my scale because I need 8 pounds of cucumbers. And then I'm going to be using this to chop them. And I use this to cut, and then I scoop out some of the large seeds and I cut them in half and I scoop some of the large seeds before I weigh them, and then I put them in the bowl to weigh them. And I'm going to be using a Ninja to chop it with. A food processor is going to give you more ideal chunks, but my food processor is old and I'm not even sure it's going to work right now. So I use this in place of food processor. It has multiple blades in it. It's not like just a blender where it blends everything from the bottom and sucks it down. It's going to actually do a decent job of chopping. So that's step one. That's what we're going to do first. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm cutting the cucumber in half, and if it has larger seeds inside because it's a bigger cucumber, I will scrape the seeds out like this. Okay. Y'all, I got busy doing this and I forgot to tell you what I was doing. Okay, see all the ones I've done already? Scrape the seeds out like so. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the end of it, and then you're going to cut off a tiny sliver of the blossom end, and then I cut it into fourths like so, and then I throw it in here. So that's what I'm doing. And if the seeds are not large, then I just go ahead, cut off the ends, cut it into fourths. And there we go, like so. These are smaller ones. I know that these are not going to have large seeds in them, so I'm just going to go ahead, cut them into fourths. If you grow organically like I do, then chances are you're gonna find some worms in your cucumbers. That's just how it is. Now, see this hole right here? That tells me that there's most likely a worm in this cucumber. So, I'm gonna cut it in half. Okay, I'm gonna cut beside it, and we're gonna see if there's a worm. There it is, little worm in the cucumber. Now, this was just a small hole with a small section affected. And can you see that? Probably not. It's a little worm on the tip of my knife. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway. Some of them are super tiny, so just watch out for those. All right, wash the knife off. Keep going. I have the cucumbers cut. I didn't have quite 8 pounds, but that's okay. We're still going to use it like it's 8 pounds worth. And what I'm going to do is put some in here. And then once I get it where I want it, I'm going to scrape it out into this large bowl here. This is what we're going to soak it in. Okay, we're going to do it about like that. Put the lid on, and we're going to pulse it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to shake it. That's what it looks like. Okay, and then this piece comes out, so hang on to that. Dump it into our bowl. And if there's some bigger pieces left, like I said, this is not a food processor, so sometimes there's bigger pieces like that I just break them up in smaller pieces. Use what you've got, right? Like so. All right. Let's keep going. All right, y'all, I've got all the cucumbers done and in a bowl. I covered it with cool water. I'm going to sprinkle in 2 teaspoons of turmeric and half a cup of salt. I'm using ball salt for pickling and preserving. You can use whatever salt. Now I'm going to stir it in. You don't have to, but I'm going to. And then I'm going to cover this and I'm going to stick it in the fridge for 2 hours. Okay, the canner is going, and I've got my cucumber stuff here that I strained, drained, and now it's sitting here, and now I'm going to add the other ingredients to it on the stove. Okay, I have my pot, and what I'm going to add to the cucumbers is 3 medium onions, finely chopped. Okay, I put in the onion, and now I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of sugar. And what I did here, y'all, that thing is getting loud. What I did here is, on top of here, I have a bunch of fresh chopped dill from the garden. I should have, that's going in there. But also, underneath it, I chopped 8 large jalapeno peppers. And those are finely chopped. And those are also going in here. The recipe doesn't call for this, but I like to add the jalapeno. Okay, and then I'm gonna add 4 cups of white wine vinegar. Okay, we're gonna bring this to a boil, and then once it springs to a boil, we're gonna turn it to low. We're gonna simmer it for 10 minutes. All right, our mixture is done. I have a hot, sterile jar, funnel. I'm going to use a ladle, and I'm going to ladle in my relish mixture. We want to fill it to within 1/2 inch of our lid. So I use this tool. It's got measuring. 1/2 inch is going to be this second notch here. I want to fill it to the correct headspace, like so. I'm going to wipe the lid clean. We're going to put it in our water bath canner. And then we're going to do it again. Put it in the water bath canner, lowered it down into the rack, and I put the lid on. I turned the heat down to medium, and I'm going to leave this going for 15 minutes. And that is how I make my jalapeno dill relish. It's really easy. The really only time consuming thing is chopping everything up. It's a really easy process, and I will be making more than just this batch over the season because this amount will not last us a year. We went through it so fast last year. So thank you for hanging out with me today, and until next time, keep on the sunny side.
Keep on the sunny side.